Scott, God of War TV show script is now being written. This is Grant Taylor Hill over at Insider Gaming. In a recent panel that was held at CES 2024, Sony's representatives confirmed that writing is now underway for the live-action adaptation of God of War. In recent years, Sony's pushed into bringing PlayStation franchises to life on the big screen or the small screen has proven to be a huge success, with several brands such as Uncharted and The Last of Us being a hit with fans. It was also highlighted by Catherine Pope, the president of Sony Pictures Television, that the Horizon Zero Dawn production that's being worked on at Netflix is also being written as we speak. It can be said that many modern PlayStation exclusive games are interactive movies with how they're written. So, to say the least, right? Dude, you just put a bunch of cutscenes together, there's our movie. We don't need anything else.
No, PlayStation really sells that the best out of anybody, though, I have to say.
They certainly do. Some of them feature near unbroken flows, bursting at the seams with cinematics and featuring some of the best voice acting in the business. They essentially write themselves when it comes to a live-action adaptation, which is more or less what happened with the likes of HBO's The Last of Us, which debuted in 2023 with overwhelmingly positive reception. Yep, it damn near crushed everything, didn't it? Like, it was up for awards, this, that, and the other. It is incredible to see the success of The Last of Us, but there's a reason behind this. And the reason being because Craig Mason and Neil Druckmann were involved. Some of the creators behind The Last of Us were actually involved in the TV adaptation. That's what they need to do for God of War. That's what they need to do for Horizon Zero Dawn. Scott, don't just send it over, right? And say, hey, you guys do your own thing. They can't do that. We're going to get a Halo.
Exactly. Otherwise, we get a Halo. There has to be some sort of oversight to keep it to the IP. But that begs the question for God of War. Well, where do you start writing from? Because this is such an older, at least a 20-year-old property at this point now. Do you go back to the ancient ones, or do you just continue with this reboot? I'm not 100% certain if it is a complete reboot, the latest two games. I don't think they're supposed to stack on the old ones. I think you're correct. But in any case, how do you stick to the source material and kind of grow from that? And if you do, who plays Kratos? That's the biggest itching question right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were looking it up. Christopher Judge is a little older than I think, but you know, he did the whole mocap and everything else when it comes to the games as well. So maybe Christopher's up to it. Maybe you'd like to go, yo, you know what? I've been in the world of television. I've been in the world of video games. I did everything for Kratos. Let me play my role now on television and let him do that. I think that'd be a great fit. At the end of the day, he's a big, stocky dude. Man, I think he can handle it, right? And he knows that character.
He's an awesome actor. You can see it come through any of these full motion captures in the games, but I was a fan of his in Stargate SG-1, and that was about 20 years ago. The thing is he was a lot younger of a man back then, able to throw people around. And being 59 now, I don't know if that's what he wants to do, and that's important. But otherwise, he has that cold demeanor. He has that very strong face, that very imposing personality, and I think that could work out really, really well. But one more question, though. Based on the new games, if they do go to stick to those, do you pass the torch off to Atreus in this instance?
No.
Over the course of a TV show, could you possibly make Atreus lovable enough that we'll accept it?
Yes and no. You can't start off that way. You need Kratos. Kratos is the face of God of War, right? You can't just let it go and not have him around and just have his son take over. That would be a Halo, right? That's Chief taking his helmet off in episode 1. That's the movie that would happen, right? Like, that wouldn't go well.
Sounds like Metal Gear Solid did that to everybody. We still talk about it to this day, though.
Kiefer Sutherland instead of it was a bit of a surprise.
I was thinking Raiden.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, in 2, because all of a sudden now I'm like, yo, this isn't Snake. Who's this? Who's this wuss? Yeah, it was right. So you have that same scenario kind of pop up here. Then you need to, I think, do a flashback to the older 20-year-old titles to get people caught up, and then move into the reboot of God of War, and then move into Ragnarok with season 2, season 3, whatever they want to kind of carry on there, right? Because you have to think, this is just the beginning for God of War. I imagine if they have the same success that The Last of Us did, This is just season 1, and they're just going to get started, and then they're going to move into season 2. Maybe season 2 is what you tee up with Ragnarok. And then Ragnarok, probably big enough that they can do the same thing and do a season 2, season 3 out of, and move that forward. And then by the time you wrap up season 3, maybe that's when you look to pass the torch to Atreus. People have had 3 seasons to get used to this kid growing over time, becoming his own man, getting his own abilities, and this, that, and the other. Dude, it's very exciting as a God of War fan to see the possibilities. And the Horizon is a whole other thing that we'll have to touch on at another time. But yeah, it's exciting to see where PlayStation is taking their franchises, without a doubt.
Absolutely.